UFC Nashville. These are the full card predictions and the betting breakdown on the road. I'm looking forward to talking about each of the matchups on this card. So make sure you guys smash the likes. If you're new, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure you share the video too. And also note, I will be live for the entire card Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss the Fight Companion. I'll also be back in studio this Tuesday. So bear with on the road, Jay, aka Vacation Jay, and let's get into the card. First fight, the ladies are going after it. We got Fatima Kline versus Melissa Martinez. To me, I have to go with the grappling prospect in Fatima Kline. I like the kickboxing skills of Melissa Martinez, but I definitely don't love her frame. She's 5'2", kind of short and stubby. Yeah, she's nice with the stand-up, but at this big height disadvantage and also at a disadvantage in grappling, I think she's in trouble here with Fatima Kline. I was one of those singing the praises of Fatima when she was making her debut against Jasudavicius. Yeah, she lost the fight, but like she got a takedown. She kind of made it competitive. That was up in weight against a really strong wrestler. Now she takes on a karate-esque kickboxing-based fighter at 115. I love the chances of her dominating this fight on the ground. The big question is the if factor. Can Fatima Kline go out there and get the finish? She did finish Dudakova, who's a solid enough striker and hyped up at one point. I have to say I respect the dub. And then, she's got good performances outside of the UFC. She trains with Erin Blanchfield. I'm leaning Fatima Kline by finish. Something's telling me she's live to pull off a submission or maybe ground and pound. One thing with like the short, stubby type build Martinez has, there's durability. There's, tricky submission defense because she got those short arms, more stocky. I guess she really doesn't have short arms, 66-inch reach. But I don't know, she's got that stubby, thick build at 5'2". But I feel like Fatima Kline's going to have the grappling skills to do it. As far as striking, yeah, Melissa Martinez is better. But like, I'm not awestruck by anything Melissa Martinez does striking-wise. I think she's clean on the feet. Right? She's pretty smooth. Her brother, Martinez from Contender Series, has got some nasty striking, so it's in the blood. But yeah, Fatima Kline's grappling game is probably going to be a nightmare for her. She's fought, twice over the past nearly 3 years. Look at that, 5.5 years ago. Oh my gosh. When you think about inactivity, I guess a win over Elise Ardoyan is nice. She beat Rayani Amanda on a decision recently. Like, it's a good journeywoman victory, but that doesn't equal beating a fellow prospect in Fatima Kline, who, she didn't give Jasudavicius the toughest fight ever, but she went the distance. And I think that Melissa Martinez is probably a dead woman walking, or probably a dead woman on her back as soon as they hit the mat. There's going to be a level difference in the grappling that I think is just way too vast to overlook. I don't think Melissa Martinez is going to be able to keep this fight striking. And as soon as they hit the floor, grappling game, Kline all day. And I don't think Kline is also getting knocked out on the feet or anything like that. It's not like Martinez has crazy power. I think Fatima Kline, I'm going to say submish, but I could see a dominant decision. Lopsided grappling advantage should be the ultimate key to victory. Odds for the fight, oh my gosh. Minus 1,400. I didn't even look at the odds beforehand. I didn't realize. I didn't even look here. I'm not even paying attention. I'm Vacation Jay, guys. I'm chilling. Minus 1,400 for Fatima Kline. She's that big of a favorite. I was thinking like 3-1. What did it open up at? I'm freaked out by this. Opened up at 6-1. Damn, yeah. Fatima Kline should definitely win, but I thought there was going to be parlay ability. I thought maybe you put her in a 2-leg. Let's see. Is there anything interesting here? Over 2.5, minus 185. The under's live here, especially with the gap in odds. It should be a lopsided fight. And Martinez's ground skills, I think, are going to be exploited. And to be fair, she lost a UFC debut to Elise Reed, who's not terrible, but she's mostly a striker. Yeah, I think Fatima Kline all day long. And so do the books. Wow. Wider than I anticipated. But yeah, Fatima, it ain't even a fight, guys. I mean, it's a fight, but you know what I'm saying. It's going to be dominant. Let's keep on running up. Next one, Mike Davis versus Mitch Ramirez. I don't even get this matchmaking. The pick is obviously Mike Davis. I feel like Mike Davis was pretty well respected for a while and seemed to be surging towards the top 15. And then he had that fight against Fares Ziam. And it was weird because like a lot of fighters were speaking about the walls were recently painted in the back of the locker room. And fighters were like having breathing issues and whatnot. And then he ends up selling against Ziam in a fight where, I thought he would actually have a pretty real grappling advantage. Ended up not looking to be such a factor. But at the end of the day, Mike Davis is a very efficient fighter. I feel like that's a good way to describe him. He's well-rounded. His kickboxing is pretty good. His ground skills are pretty good. Now, he does seem to be in really good condition normally, obviously, aside from the Ziam fight where he kind of looked not himself. That was a weird performance. I feel like people can look at that and maybe think, oh, man, Mike Davis, the fraud. Nah, I think Mike Davis is good. Mike Davis is a solid fight IQ. He's a very well-versed MMA fighter. I like his tool set that he brings to this matchup. I don't really rate Mitch Ramirez higher than he's a tough guy. He's tough. I mean, listen, he took Carlos Prates down early in their fight on Contender Series, right? That's respectable. And then he got a win outside of the UFC, and then Thiago Moises destroyed him on the feet. We're like singing the praises of Moises every so often, then he just badly sells. A bad loss with leg kicks against Thiago Moises, I think that's a recipe for disaster here. Now, to be fair, if you look, I mean, Mike Davis, as of recent, he's been, control-based, but he's got the sub over Levy and then, obviously losing to Ziam. But Davis is willing to dominate position and, grind out decision wins. With Mitch Ramirez, I feel like he could be tough enough to survive here. Do we get a playing it safe Mike Davis in this fight? I think that's really what it comes down to because I see Mike Davis as the better striker. I see him as the more efficient fighter. I see him as a better grappler. I see him with the higher fight IQ. Got more high-level experience. He's definitely a winner coming into this fight. It's about how does he get it done. I'm sitting here deciding live right now. Does he get the ground and pound finish? If your legs are getting chopped apart by Moises, I get it was a year and 3 months ago, but still, a year and 3 months ago, he was 30 years old. Now he's 32, or he was 31 at the time. I'm thinking, how much better has he gotten since then? Does Mike Davis chop at the legs a bit too? Mike Davis has got some sting in his hands. I just feel like he doesn't always let the beast out. He's nicknamed Beast Boy, but at times I think he's Mr. Controller, I see Mike Davis dominating the fight. I'm not impressed, man. Mitch Ramirez is an okay brawler as far as striking goes, has a little bit of wrestling. It's just, to me, a bad loss to Thiago Moises and now Mike Davis. Those are just two higher level matchups, right? Those guys are in the better half or maybe the better, 3/4, you could say. Top 70%, 1/3 of the damn UFC lightweight division. I just don't think Mitch Ramirez is that. I feel like Mitch Ramirez, should be fighting guys more towards the back end, the bottom caliber. Mike Davis been around for a minute. He's skillful. I'm going to say Mike Davis wins. I don't know. I want to say TKO, but I can't. I'm feeling decision. I feel fairly dominant decision for Mike Davis. Best case scenario, though, he turns the beast on, kind of makes us forget about that letdown against Fares Ziam. Let me take a sip. I'm on vacation, man. And I think that we're going to get a Mike Davis dominant win. He definitely wins. I could see a ground and pound finish. Does he lock up a submission? Maybe. It's like Mitch Ramirez hasn't really fought high-level op besides, Moises and Prates, and he got absolutely crumbled in those fights. Does Mike Davis follow it and finish him? I'm leaning decision, though. I'm seeing lopsided decision. I'm seeing 30-27 on all cards. Odds for the fight, 9-1. Wow. First two fights on this card, we got disgusting odds. -900 for Mike Davis. Yeah, Mitch Ramirez don't have a chance in hell. He really doesn't have a chance here. The over is plus money. Wow, okay. I'd be interested in looking at an over 1.5. Over 2.5 is sweatier because if the skill gap is very wide and Davis goes for it, which I feel like to really push his UFC career and his trajectory back upwards at 32, because it's now or never, really. I think he needs a finish. Maybe I'll go Mike Davis TKO. I don't know, man. We'll see what the props are looking like. I feel like he's live to control on the ground, wear Mitch Ramirez down, and maybe get a volume-based TKO on the ground, or maybe, gassed out Mitch Ramirez, out-dogged, and then get strangled. I feel like I'm just calling Mike Davis inside distance. I have to. The skill gap is so wide that, if Davis takes it to a decision and he does win it on the cards here, no matter how dominant, I'm going to now officially have an asterisk on his name, safety first fighter. because I think skill-wise, he's got the ability to finish. So I'm going to say Davis finds a way to finish. I think he wears down Ramirez, and I think he either submits him or he finishes him off with some ground and pound and maybe hurts him on the feet with a big straight. Davis has a little bit of pop in his hands. It's just about, is he letting those, Beast Boy shots fly? I don't know. Mr. Controller as of late, but let's see what happens here. I'm going Mike Davis to snap it back and get the track going in a positive net. I like Mike Davis. I've been a Mike Davis fan for a minute. I feel like he's had skills for a long time. I mean, he lost to Gilbert Burns and he went on a tear. I think he runs through Mitch Ramirez here. Let's keep on moving up the card. Next fight, we got big boys going after it. Heavyweights, we got Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Valter Walker. I'm going to pick Valter Walker in this fight. I think his grappling advantage is really massive here. And I get it. Nzechukwu is a scary striker with very long arms, and he's got knockout ability. And he's looked pretty good at heavyweight. Like, let's give respect where it's due. He knocked out Brzeski violently. He destroyed Chris Barnett. But to be fair, these are two bottom-of-the-barrel heavyweights. And then on the flip side, I know what you're going to say. Well, Lucas Brzeski won a controversial decision in a close fight with Valter Walker. Okay. To be fair, Valter Walker, a year and 2 months ago, looked terrible against Lucas Brzeski. But then he lost 20 pounds of fat. I mean, maybe more than 20 pounds of fat because he's weighing in at 245. He was probably cutting down to 265. Like, he seemed to just snap back into it or maybe snap into it for a first time. Like, okay, I'm in the UFC now. Strength and conditioning needs to be a priority. And he looks like a freaking different person on the scale. I don't want to say he looks like a freak on the scale, but he looks pretty jacked up. Looks leaner. So we have like a very fit Valter Walker with a dangerous ground game and a well-versed ground game. Like, he's got heel hooks in the arsenal, creative jiu-jitsu, strong takedowns, ability to control, but now also an ability to finish on the mat. Quick sub of Junior Tafa, sub of Mays and Tafa. I mean, to be fair, these guys are, downright terrible at grappling. And I would say Nzechukwu is definitely a lot better than them on the ground. But I'm just not confident in Nzechukwu being able to deal with like a big, strong heavyweight grappler like this. You look at Nzechukwu's, light heavyweight career. Yes, he fought against some guys that have good takedowns. Like, all right, he finished off Kute Laba, which, you know what? That's pretty impressive, right? He beat Danilo Marquez, who had good jiu-jitsu at one point. He lost to Paul Craig by submission back in 2019, though. And then obviously he's taken, some L's along the way. But at heavyweight, he's been perfect. But he's also been in perfect matchups. He's been in there against guys who don't pose a grappling threat. I mean, he fought Chris Barnett, who's the size, height-wise, of a UFC lightweight. He fought Lucas Brzeski, who's just downright trash. And now he's fighting a hungry 27-year-old Valter Walker that seems to be taking his MMA career more serious than ever. I have to say, I'm not confident in Nzechukwu's ability to stay off the ground with this savage. I think Valter Walker is going to get this fight to the mat, and I think Valter Walker is going to be live for a submission the whole time. Yes, in the striking department, Nzechukwu's got way better punches. And if Valter Walker is caught up in a kickboxing fight, sure, Nzechukwu is live to knock him out. Nzechukwu's got a bit of pop, and he's definitely got speed. As far as the heavyweight division goes, though he has the height and the reach of a heavyweight, he has that lanky frame. So he's throwing pretty quick shots that, they'll puzzle up some of these slower, more plodding heavyweights, which striking-wise, Valter Walker is more plodding and slower on the feet. But when the fight hits the ground, I really think there is a level difference. And then I also look at the age. I got a 27-year-old hungry Valter Walker showing commitment to the game, the changes in the physical appearance, and then his downright dominant performances against guys that he should beat like that in Junior Tafa and Dontel Mays. Now he takes on Nzechukwu, who's definitely a step up in comp, but unproven at heavyweight. I'm going to say Valter Walker finds a way. It's not like Nzechukwu's got like a long history of fending off grapplers. Like, obviously Kute Laba's a good wrestler, but he's more of a brawler. And he's a lot smaller than Valter Walker. Valter Walker is going to be an inch taller than Nzechukwu. He's going to be, a bit heavier when they get inside the octagon. The red flag about this fight will be, and if you are betting on Valter as an underdog, pay attention to the weigh-ins. Because if Valter Walker shows up chubby, right? If he looks like he's out of shape, if maybe, something went wrong in the camp and we get thick boy Valter Walker again, then it's a red flag. And Nzechukwu's live to defend those takedowns, keep it striking, and just destroy him on the feet. But if he's in shape and he can pressure wrestle all night, like potentially, first takedown doesn't work, but he hits the second, and Nzechukwu works back up to his feet, and then Walker's on him again like glue, taking him down, third time, fourth time, wearing on him, taking his back. Something tells me Valter Walker's jiu-jitsu's legit, man. And a good grappler like this at heavyweight who's in shape, gets fights to the ground, can take it to the top 15, no problem. And I just don't know with Nzechukwu. It's a weird matchup because I really have been liking Valter Walker's improvements. And I actually think Nzechukwu looks pretty good at heavyweight. It's just he's taking on a guy that I really believe can out-grapple him and out-muscle him too on the ground, right? He's taking on a skillful grappler who's bigger than him. It's not like, oh, well, Valter Walker's a 6'1" wrestler, right? He's not Thomas Peterson, right? He's a finisher on the ground. He's a nasty submission specialist type of grappler who is very physically strong and is athletic too. Taking this game serious, man. I think Valter Walker by submission is just calling my name. As soon as I saw this fight, I was like, I think Nzechukwu's not going to be ready for this threat of grappling and the legitimate threat of not just control. That's the thing I like about Walker is he's going to hunt for the submissions. And I think he could sub Nzechukwu. I'm going to go Valter Walker to win by submission. Not saying I'm surprised to see him as a plus 170 underdog, but I do feel like the odds could be closer. At open, it was minus 185, so books have had it near that 2-1 zone since rip. Plus 170 for Valter Walker on the other side. I'm going to go towards the grappler. I'm feeling the grappler. An in-shape Valter Walker. If I'm seeing a 4-pack on Valter Walker with the submission skills that he brings to the table, I really think he could end up dragging this fight into the deep water, wearing on Nzechukwu, and then subbing him up. The over 2.5, minus 108, under minus 122. They're anticipating it goes under by just a bit. I'm going to say that there's a finish. I'm going to say it's a submission. Now, if on the other side, right, if, Kennedy Nzechukwu is to go out there and get a W, he's probably pulling off a KO win. But I don't think Walker is getting just stung up on the feet. I think he's taking this fight to the ground, man. And I think he's thriving when they hit the mat. So give me Valter Walker, the clean monster, as an underdog. I'm going with the submission. I'm going with the prospect, a 27-year-old strong grappler who's in shape at heavyweight. Bro, the top 15's wide open for him. Like right now, if it was Valter Walker, Mick Parkin, I feel like I'm leaning towards Valter Walker to get that thing to the ground. I like Valter Walker. And I think Nzechukwu, though he's a dangerous and long striker, is going to be put where he's most uncomfortable, which is grappling. So give me Walker. Next fight, we got the ladies going after it. We got Lauren Murphy at 70 years old versus Eduarda Moura. The pick is going to be Eduarda Moura all day. Lauren Murphy, 41. I don't know why I was anticipating her retirement because she hasn't fought in 2.5 years. See, that's a huge red flag. It's not so much the age, right? Earlier in the game, when I was covering it years ago, I'd be a little more obsessed about age. These days, I'm a little less age obsessed and I'm more activity obsessed. When I see a 42-year-old or nearly 42-year-old in Lauren Murphy who doesn't fight often, 2.5 years off, that's a red flag just right in my face, right? I prefer an active. She was 42, but she's fighting every 6 months, right? We got a good activity rate. Maybe she looked sharp in a recent fight. Then, okay, there's an argument. But 2.5 years off, coming off the loss to Andrade, now taking on Eduarda Moura, who is a Gelton Almeida teammate, strong grappling skill set. And I feel like she was making a mistake cutting down in weight. Like she was doing women's strawweight, which I thought was delusional off rip. And then, moving up to the damn flyweight division, I just think it's kind of a limitless ceiling. 10 years younger, nasty jiu-jitsu skills. I think she's going to have a bit of a physical strength advantage. It's got to be Eduarda Moura getting this fight to the ground. It has to be. I don't think Lauren Murphy can turn into a kickboxing fight. I'm assuming that's what she's going to want to do as more of her style. She's got okay stand-up. Like Lauren Murphy's not terrible. She's all right. She beat Miesha Tate nearly 3 years ago. Then obviously Shevchenko. But it's like activity's been low, right? Almost like one fight a year, and she hasn't fought in 2.5 years. So, that layoff is a massive red flag for a 42-year-old. And then I got Moura, who's coming off a win against Veronica Hardy. And it was a surgeon Veronica Hardy that Moura beat. And yeah, she lost a real close decision to Denise Gomes, who's like fun size and way shorter than her. But Gomes is a powerful striker. Gomes has got fast hands. Gomes is dynamic on the feet. And it was the wrong weight class for Moura as she's sucking her soul dry, trying to make 115 pounds. We've seen it time and time again. Fighters decide, F this weight cut, I'm moving up 10 pounds, and then they're the best version of themselves ever. Like, it's that weight bully argument versus fighting at the proper weight class and being, properly trained, filled in, and fit. And I really believe that Eduarda Moura, properly filled in, fit, younger, nasty jiu-jitsu, strong grappling base, is going to be able to outwork Lauren Murphy. I'm not picking a 42-year-old. I'm not doing it. Women's MMA is crazy, though. So, you look at the odds, and you're like, yo, Eduarda Moura, man, what's she, 6-1? Where are the odds at? Minus 700, 7-1. I don't think she should be a 7-1 favorite, regardless of the layoff for Lauren Murphy and the age. But I will say, I definitely think she wins. She's at least, to me in my brain, she's a minus 300. She opened up at 5-1. So books are saying Eduarda Moura is going to dominate. And I think so too. I wish the odds were a little closer. But unfortunately, there's, 3 out of the first 4 fights on this damn card are disgusting lines that you really can't have any fun with for the most part. But I think Eduarda Moura wins. Does she get the submission? I respect the veteran in Lauren Murphy. I'm going to lean towards a grappling-based decision. And I think Moura might look okay on the feet too, because I've always felt like Lauren Murphy has kind of like a drunken boxing style. All right. And that was, 2.5 years ago. Now, I don't know. I think now she could look worse. I think Moura can strike with her. Over 2.5, minus 285, most likely. I think it's going to be W for Eduarda Moura. I expect her to be able to win the grappling battle, probably be a bit quicker even on the feet, because Murphy, even in her prime, was never one of those strikers who are like, yo, she's fast. She's a little more slow twitch. And I'm going to go with, prospect on the rise, who's found the right weight class for herself in a strong, nasty, dominant grappling game. Should be, pretty handily win. But it could be a 29-28. To be fair, like, women's MMA is so weird these days, and probably always, but especially lately. It's like you could see Lauren Murphy nabbing, the third round with Moura, showing some inexperience, maybe getting tired after, out grappling Murphy in the first 2. So I'm going to give Moura the win. I'm going to say decision. She should beat Lauren Murphy. She's a better grappler, and I'd even say striking-wise, she'll look faster than the aging Lauren Murphy here. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, Jake Matthews versus Chidi Bang Bang Njokuani. I'm going with Chidi Bang Bang. I've been a Chidi Bang Bang fan for a long time, but I will tell you, I have had my doubts about the decision to go back to welterweight, because I heard in an interview he was like, oh, I hate it. Like, it's terrible for me cutting down to welterweight. But he looked good. I mean, he's dropped down to welterweight, and I feel like the performances have looked better. Like, you look last time against Zaleski, absolutely starched him 3 months ago. And a green flag about that is activity at 170. I'm assuming that he's found some comfortability in some type of weight management, which I think is a major green flag for taking another fight in the welterweight division. Currently, 3-0 on his, welterweight return inside of the UFC. And he's kind of got that tricky frame to deal with too. 6'3", 80-inch reach, solid Muay Thai-based striker, deceptive with clinch ability, nasty elbows and knees to the body, decent with his straight shots, strong grappling defense, knockout power. To be honest with you, I think that Chidi Njokuani should beat a Jake Matthews. Jake Matthews, how do I describe Jake Matthews? He's pretty good at boxing. Jake Matthews is in good shape. He's got a good left hook. He mixes up his punch combinations and bite on the mouthpiece and close distance and throw hard. But I'm never awestruck by Jake. And he's been in the UFC since he was a little kid, it feels like. And I just can't pick a Jake Matthews. I'll be honest, man. Such a stain on his record. Looking at the downfall of Semmelsberger, but Matthews lost to him. It's almost like I still having trouble forgiving him for that loss 2.5 years ago. Lost to Michael Morales, but went distance and put up a tough fight. Like, I'm sitting here picking Chidi Njokuani, but I gotta give some respect. Like, Jake Matthews can fight. Jake Matthews is on a win streak, beat Phil Rowe, beat Francisco Prado. His stand-up game looks good. And he beat a Phil Rowe, who's a really tall and long boxer. But Phil Rowe is not as deceptive nor as effective with his stand-up game, the Muay Thai tricks, right? They're not in the arsenal. Now, Chidi and Njokuani, I guess I got to mention, dude can't make weight. There's so many red flags. Like, I'm picking Chidi Bang Bang, but I will say the weight cut worries me. It's always going to worry me. Damn, bro. Does Jake Matthews somehow just let his hands fly? I don't want to see it. Chidi's better at strike. He's like more well-versed with the 8 limbs. He's a sharper blade, but I will give credit. Matthews can box a bit. Matthews is nasty with his hands. Matthews is a good brawler, boxer brawler, and he's pretty well-rounded. He's in good shape. I just think Chidi and Njokuani can do more damage. I worry about this, though. Round number 3, and if it's close 1 and 2, I worry about that weight cut and like Chidi Bang Bang kind of sucking wind come round number 3 and Matthews putting the pressure on him. Matthews putting a heavy pace on him, throwing big shot combinations. I'll tell you straight, I'm picking Chidi Bang Bang. And, you know, a lot of times in the past, I've been high on the Chidi Bang Bang betting side. This fight particularly, it's a red flag to throw down on Chidi Bang Bang for me. Missing weight recently. And even if he makes 171, now I got to be worried. Yo, is he going to look worse? Feels like one of those 50-50s. I think Chidi could do more damage. I think he could have successful striking moments from range. I definitely think Matthews can rip some fast punches. And like, as I'm talking about this fight, I'm like seeing Matthews boxing. I'm like, no, that's the Vacation J fear setting in. That's the fear setting in of the what if factor. What if the weight cut is bad for Chidi? What if he slows down in round number 3? What if Jake Matthews is more on point than he's been, you know, and now he keeps the fire going. He closes the distance, but he's at a 7-inch reach disadvantage, a 4-inch height disadvantage, and you have a skillful Muay Thai practitioner in Chidi and Njokuani on the opposite side, who even if Matthews is able to close distance on, I think the clinch work of Njokuani and ripping close range shots like elbows really in close range could be a massive difference maker. I'm going to go Chidi Bang Bang. I think he finds a way. I feel like I got to respect the win streak. I got to respect the confidence that's sticking at 170. I mean, shit, I hope he makes weight, but if he doesn't make weight, might be better. Fuck it, Chidi, come in at 175, man. Let's limit that weight cut a bit. Let's come in at 175. Let's secure the win, and then we'll worry about what's next afterwards. I feel like Chidi can win this fight by a decision. I don't think it's an easy matchup, though. Jake Matthews is in shape. He can do everything pretty good. He's fast. And his boxing does stand out. He's good with his hands, and he backs people up. He throws hard. He's pretty sharp. But I like Chidi's length. I like Chidi's Muay Thai, and I like Chidi Bang Bang to find a way to win. I'm going to pick him. He's a minus 150 favorite. Matthews plus 130. I don't know. Bet inside, I want to stay outside. Bet inside, I want to stay outside. I want to chill on the corner and just, you know, root for my guy Chidi. But if you are betting on either side, good luck to you. If you're betting on Chidi Bang Bang, you might sweat a bit because, you know, that third round could be testy. I like over 1.5. Forget the over 2.5 and minus 200. Minus 275 over 1.5. Yes, it's going over 1.5. Lock. The over 1.5 is better than a money line here. But yeah, I'm going to pick Chidi Bang Bang. I think, and now the odds actually moved a bit, minus 145. I think he wins. I think he wins a decision, but it's going to be a sweaty one. It's going to be a testy fight. Like, you're going to be sitting there a little bit nervous. And, you know, there's just better bets to make, I think. I'm going to say Chidi Bang Bang gets it on the scorecards. I think that he's able to do more damage in a competitive fight against a hard-nosed kid in Jake Matthews, who's been on the roster since he was a damn child. And I think Chidi and Njokuani keeps this win streak going. And as I'm saying that, I'm starting to sweat. I'm getting nervous. I'm moving on to the next fight. We'll see. The weigh-ins might tell something different, but as of right now, I think it's Chidi Bang Bang time. Let's go. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, we have our featured prelim of the night. We have Chris Curtis versus Max Griffin. I'm picking the action man. Chris Curtis makes his emphatic return to 170 pounds, and I think he handles here. I think he looks good. I feel like Chris Curtis has always kind of been built like welterweight, but obviously not a big fan of the weight cutting, which, you know, do I blame him? Hell no. Hell no. Those treacherous weight cuts. It's a lot easier to keep fighting at 85, but let's be real, he was kind of falling off at 185. Like, if you look at Chris Curtis' last couple, Roman Kopylov knocks him out. And then the Brendan Allen fight, though, I picked him against Brendan Allen, and I thought he was damn near close to winning, and then he tore his hamstring. Goes 5, makes it a war, ends up losing a split decision. Respect to Chris Curtis in that fight. Fight before that, Marc-Andre Barrios, they went in pretty back and forth war, and then he, squeaked by with a close one. Obviously, a Mavov no contest. The Gaslam lost, but he got like devastatingly headbutted in that fight. That was kind of fucked. I think that Chris Curtis is gonna mess Max Griffin up. Chris Curtis's boxing's dangerous. I think Chris Curtis has more power. I think he can win the boxing exchanges between the two of them. I could see him catching Max Griffin with a right hook to the chin. I could see Chris Curtis ripping him with like a power combination and dropping Max. Now, to be fair though, Max Griffin against strikers ain't too shabby. He's only got one knockout loss, right? He loses to Michael Chiesa, who's just a dominant wrestler, and then he gets subbed. But you look, I mean, Jeremiah Wells, close split decision, and Wells is a powerhouse. Michael Morales fight, he still went the distance, and he was tough in that outing. Tim Means win by split decision. To be fair, it was 2022. Tim Means at 2022 is kind of good. Knocked out Kenan Song back in 2021. When's the last time he was KO'd? It was a long time back. Covington on the ground stops. Of course, Colby's got that stain on it. Chris Curtis could knock him out, but the issue is Chris Curtis will play the spar game. He'll spar with you. I'm going to say Chris Curtis wins. I could see him rocking Max Griffin with a big punch, but does he follow up and finish it? I don't know. It's wild, man. Both these guys, right? Almost 38 for Chris Curtis, nearly 40 for Max Griffin. So, towards that twilight zone of their careers, the worry on Chris Curtis would be, oh shit, that weight cut and he looks worse than ever before. I don't know. I think he's a disciplined athlete. I think Chris Curtis comes into this fight looking pretty good. I've always felt like Max Griffin has like a twinkle toes stand-up style, a little bit of like the pigeon toes or like the inverted knees, You know what I'm talking about if you watch Max Griffin. But, deceptively athletic, decent punches, okay with his straights, but like he doesn't do anything like, wow. I feel like at least I can say Chris Curtis, he can rip some power shots. That right hook is nice, that dangerous southpaw stance, sitting on his punches, throwing hard, and being willing to engage in a brawl. I think that Chris Curtis will win the brawl. I guess because we're in Tennessee, I'm anticipating violence. Like I could see Max Griffin drop with a punch, but he does have a pretty good chin. And Chris Curtis cutting that weight. Method of victory is fucking, you put me to torture zone, guys. You put me to torture zone, picking a method of victory here. I'm leaning towards Chris Curtis by decision, but I want to say knockout. I want a knockout. I think knockout is probably say knockout or decision are the two most likely. I doubt that they're grappling. I think it's going to be a pretty kickboxing-based fight. I think Curtis shows his power. I think he's got the power advantage over Griffin. I think he's the better boxer than Max Griffin. I think he can put the pressure on Max Griffin. I expect Griffin to be trying to move a good amount, and then Curtis kind of hunting him down. Max Griffin trying to, pull off like a Jack Hermanson type point fight decision, because that's the way to beat Chris Curtis for a lot of these guys, right? He's going to have to pick them apart and stay moving. I don't think he's going to be able to run from him for 3 rounds. I think Curtis is going to close that gap. It'll turn into a fight, and some key moments, Chris Curtis will win, and I think he lands some big punches too. I'm excited for the 170-pound Chris Curtis, and if he can go out and get a knockout, because listen, Chris Curtis can crack. When he's on one, he's on one. If he can go out and get a knockout, or even just a win in general though, and he makes weight and he looks pretty good, I mean, it could be like a late career resurgence at 170 pounds, because like Curtis was like the teeterer of the top 15 at middleweight for a while, but it's fallen from grace a bit. I think he can catch a couple W's at 170 pounds, and I feel like the perfect fight to start with is a Max Griffin. Griffin, who hasn't looked great in recent years, got outdogged last time by, Michael Chiesa, not getting any like wow impressive finishes lately. It's been close decision wins at best. And I think Chris Curtis, the action man, can bring the action. And I think he makes Max Griffin endure the pain. You understand? We're dropping some cringe over here. I'm going with Chris Curtis for the dub. Curtis is a 3-1 favorite, minus 305. Yeah. I agree with the odds, man. Max Griffin got destroyed by Chiesa last time. Was he the favorite against Chiesa? I know I picked Chiesa there, but I feel like Chiesa was he the dog? Let's see. Chiesa was plus 100 as the dog. Yeah. I thought Max Griffin would get exploited in that fight with grappling, and he did. And I think now this one, he's getting exploited in the striking. Curtis's boxing should be too powerful. Minus 305 for Curtis, plus 255 for Griffin. Obviously, there's a weight cut that stands in the way, but I assume that if Curtis looks healthy enough, he should be able to perform pretty well at 170 in a matchup like this. Minus 225 for the over. Knockout or decision, but it is probably going to hit the over. I feel like probably over, but as a fan, I'll hope we get a KO. I'm going Chris Curtis, and I think he delivers some heavy shots. Let's keep running. Let's jump to our main card opener. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe it up. On the road, breaking down the fights, and let's get into the main card. Junior Tafa versus Tuco Tokkos at 205 pounds. Oh my God, I have to pick between these two. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Junior Tafa to win, but I don't like it. I'm thinking of this Navajo Sterling fight, and I'm like, wait a second, is Junior Tafa a red flag? My God, I hate this fight, you know? Oh my God, I came in here ready to pick Junior Tafa and sell the knockout, but like I'm sitting here and I'm looking at Tokkos and I'm thinking, he did give Navajo Sterling some trouble. And Navajo Sterling is way more technically proficient than Junior Tafa. And yeah, of course, you know, Tokkos went out there and lost to an Umar Sai, right? He's been laid to waste before. Ming Yang Zhang destroyed him. Junior Tafa's ground skills are terrible. Oh my God, I'm sitting here really thinking about this one. I wrote down I was going Tafa beforehand, but I won't lie to you guys, that vacation feeling in the air, I don't know. Something's telling me Tokkos might win this fight. Am I really about to pick Tokkos? Oh my God. This is what I'll say about Tokkos. If he gets this fight to the ground, he's going to have a clear advantage, man. And the Tafa brothers, they get lazy. He was looking exhausted last fight. Now he's cutting down to 205. Is he going to make weight? Tokkos keeps his UFC career alive. Fuck it. I'll go Tokkos. I don't know why. No, I do know why. I do know why. It's because I know Tokkos can grapple better than Tafa. And oh my God, man, I'm like uninspired by this fight. Both of him and Charrière. Charrière's coming in short notice. They're fucking putting their hands on their knees, man. Like Kimbo sliced Dada 5000 in the modern era, right? This is what we're looking at. Two guys more gassed than I've seen anybody. And like Junior Tafa is 28. You shouldn't be getting tired like that. And then the fight before, Walker subs him up. De Lima destroyed him on the feet. He beat Parker Porter, but Parker Porter's terrible. Mohammed Usman goes out and, you know, on the feet, Tafa looked kind of good. Oh my gosh, I'm like sitting here. I feel like I'm overthinking this fight. My initial pick was Tafa. Now I'm flipping to Tokkos. Nah, not allowing myself. I can't. I'm going to go Tafa with hesitance, okay? You see the hesitance here. I would not throw fucking money down on either one of these guys. This is not my way of gambling on guys that like might win. Like I want to be confident whether it's an underdog or a favorite. So if you're on the gambling side, fuck this fight. I'll say this. I think that Junior Tafa's striking is so much better than Tokkos. And like if he's taking this weight cut seriously and he's not eating like a fatty, you know, and he's not cheating on his diet and he doesn't weigh 215, you know, like maybe he comes out with a bit of abs and like we got a resurgent Junior Tafa because he's got the kickboxing arsenal. He's accurate. He's had moments where I'm like, yo, Junior Tafa's good. And then he's had other moments where I'm like, Junior Tafa is trash. I don't know what we're going to get. I feel like this is another one. I want to see the fucking weigh-ins. I want to see them face off. I want to see how they look on the scales, especially with Tafa dropping down from, you know, the 240 range. Then he's taking on a big, strong grappler in Tokkos who's, you know, got a solid ground game, but isn't like exceptional at grappling. I mean, Umar Sai made easy work with him on the mat, but he gave Navajo Sterling some trouble, and Navajo's pretty good. He's a tactical striker, probably better at grappling defense than Junior Tafa. It comes down to this, like, if Tafa can't land the shot and Tokkos is relentless to close the gap and he gets this fight to the ground, he's going to be live for a submission. I'm just staring at this fight and getting pissed off at myself. This is the one fight on the card where I'm like, yo, like if there's any true back and forth on the live, or I guess it's not live for you guys, but it's live for me because I'm doing it right now. It's going to be this fight right here because there's a pathway to victory for both. If Junior Tafa is able to strike from the mid and long range, he's going to crack Tokkos. He could shut his lights off. But if he starts overshooting, if he gets a little frustrated, and if Tokkos gets him to the ground, Tokkos has a strong grappling ability. I mean, he doesn't have a ton of wins by submission, but he's got the ability to take these fights to the ground and control. And if he's on one, he could go out and win. But it's like I'm kind of picking off hope with Tokkos. At least I know Tafa can win UFC fights. Say what you want, and I'll say what I want because I'm shitting on the performance a bit. Not impressive. but he's done the thing. He's won fights in the UFC. Tokkos has not. Tokkos in the UFC has gotten handled. I mean, he put a gutsy effort out there against Navo Sterling, but am I giving out the participation trophy? Well, he gave a gutsy effort with Navajo, so then he beats Tafa. If Tafa shows up in really good shape, like this could be a Tafa 2.0, he's 28. I'm going to hold my breath on confirming that it's Tafa 2.0. I can't say that for sure. But I do like the mentality of cutting down because I've always felt like he was kind of just fat at heavyweight. Like he has more of like a skinnier build. He doesn't look like a true heavyweight. He's always seemed like a light heavyweight who just wanted to eat a little extra, you know, being that calorie surplus all the time. If he looks good on the scale and, you know, is out there motivated, he could be faster than ever before. He could be more accurate, could be angrier, more motivated. I feel like Junior Tafa can keep it alive. I need a Samoan Savage to pull through. All right. And I'm going to say Junior Tafa could be the Samoan Savage that finds a way. He's a slight favorite at -150. I feel like this fight's going to end in violence. I feel like Tafa by knockout. Tokkos is +130. Let's see. Is there an under 2.5 or is it all 1.5? So of course, it's a 1.5. -135. If it goes over 1.5, I'm going to start sweating on the Tafa side because I could see him on his back taken down. But I'm not like wow at all about Tokkos' ground skills. It's just, you know, I know he trains with Kill Cliff. There's a lot of nasty grapplers there. And Tokkos, at the very least, he's relatively good at grappling. It's just Junior Tafa's a lot better at striking. And if he shows up in shape, he's going to have a big power edge. And if he's in shape, I'm assuming his footwork's better. He can make himself a little bit more difficult to drag to the ground. And like, I don't think Tokkos is throwing out leg locks and shit like that on him. I think Tafa could nail him. I'm going to go Tafa by KO. I'm going to stick with the initial lean. I'm not going to fall into the what-if factor and be swayed. I think Junior Tafa by knockout makes the most sense here. And I'm going to say that he drops some heavy punches on Tokkos' chin and puts him away. Next fight on the card, we got Vitor Petrino versus Austen Lane. I'm going to pick Vitor Petrino. I think Vitor Petrino is going to look good at heavyweight, especially against a bottom of the barrel heavyweight in Austen Lane. Like this is one of those very winnable heavyweight fights for him. Like this is a matchup where, okay, Vitor Petrino, you got a damn good chance of pulling through. He should pull through. Petrino's got powerful punches. He's got explosive combinations when he lets him go. He's got the touch of death. If he lands clean on the chin, he's going to hurt you and put you out. Has a solid ground game. It's just his last 2 fights have been bad, but he's only 27, to be fair. And he's moving up to heavyweight. Maybe that weight cut was draining him a bit. I don't know. Maybe he feels less pressure not cutting the weight. He's 6'2", so he's good sized and he's got some solid muscle tissue on him. Vitor Petrino got absolutely fraud checked by Smith. He's doing well in the striking, then decides, obviously he said he was injured early in the fight, but then he decides to pick up Smith, try to slam him, and then gets put in a ghillie. And Anthony Smith finds a way to sub him a year ago, and it was like the corpse of Anthony Smith. But respect to Smith finding a way. At the end of the day, he knows how to find the ghillie. The submission game is still there. And then Dustin Jacoby laid waste to him late in that fight, but he wasn't looking awful on the feet. Jacoby's a clean kickboxer. Austen Lane, he comes from a football background. He's a decent athlete, but he's always had a testy chin. I have seen Austen Lane knocked out more times than I'd like to admit. He's been KO'd 6 times. All 6 losses are KO losses. Got knocked out by Mario Pinto, but he did hurt him in round number 1, so respect to it. And then, you know, Janiz's fight, he's able to do pretty well on the ground early, and then boom, flatline KO round 2. Justin Tafa knocked him out quick. You know, after the weird no contest, he's been knocked out outside of the UFC. Frank Tate knocked him out, bare knuckle brawler. Greg Hardy knocked him out in Contender Series. I feel like Vitor Petrino is knocking his ass out. I don't see Austen Lane out grappling Vitor Petrino, and I think that Petrino is going to be way too explosive. I think he's going to be able to land a power shot, and I think he'll get into close range. And like, I don't know, with Austen Lane's tall and lanky style, especially when he's punching down at the shorter opponent, the 6'2" Petrino, there's going to be a potential for overhand punches or hooks over the top to land clean on the chin. And I think Petrino is going to be able to close that distance and land those thudding power shots. And I'm going to say Vitor Petrino devastatingly chins Austen Lane in this fight. I think it's an impressive knockout. And I think Petrino gets some hype back on him. I don't know about the heavyweight run for Petrino. I got to see how this fight goes out and looks, but it seems like he wants to commit to this weight class, and it might be the best decision for him ever because he was very muscle bound at 205, and maybe the weight cut was limited him a bit, and maybe we're going to see a bigger beast than ever before. He's definitely got the athleticism. He's definitely got the power. Like Petrino, if you just gave me a template fighter, he has the makings of a freak, a champion, a destroyer of worlds. But has it come to be at a high level yet? No. But I think he can win this fight here. He's, I think, more efficient on the ground than Austen Lane, way more powerful on the feet, way more devastating puncher. Vitor Petrino by violent KO. He's a 7-1 favorite. Yeah, I'm going to agree with the lines. Under 1.5 minus 150. I'll say yes. I'm feeling like Petrino's probably live to thud a big shot on Austen Lane's chin in round one. And like even Austen Lane's win, right, against Rebellas de Spain, it was just a grapple fucking. Vitor Petrino was not getting taken down and grapple fucked by Austen Lane. Chill, please. It's going to be Vitor Petrino probably controlling where this fight takes place. If anybody's getting taken down, I think it's Lane on his back. And Petrino's got thunderous ground and pound shots when need be. He's got a strong base. He's explosive with his punches. And I think he's knocking Austen Lane out violently. So we're going Vitor Petrino to find the violent win, to get the knockout. And I think he's taking a W home. Next fight on the card, we got Nate Landwehr versus Morgan Charrière. I'm going to go with Morgan Charrière. Yeah, I think he beats Nate the Train. I like Nate the Train in the UFC. I like him in Tennessee too. But man, I think that Morgan Charrière is too athletic, too explosive. And I think he's too quick. Simply put, like I think he's going to be able to land a lot of clean shots on Nate the Train. I see him as a faster striker. I think in the grappling, he matches up well with Nate Landwehr. Like Landwehr's best wins sometimes are like comeback W's. Like he's getting rocked left and right, but then he digs deep and finds the knockout. But I feel like Charrière is better than that. Now, of course, last time, Morgan Charrière took a lopsided L to Nathaniel Wood. But Nathaniel Wood is like the essence of technical skill, whereas Nate Landwehr is like the prime example of a hard-nosed country banger, So it's contrary stylistic matchups from Charrière's last fight to this fight. Charrière is a lot more technically proficient, and he's faster, the better athlete, and more precise with the shots. I think Morgan Charrière will take a win home. Fight before that, he destroyed Gabriel Miranda. Honestly, could have won this decision against Chepe, and Chepe is an in-your-face brawler, and Charrière was able to keep up a good pace in that fight. So, like, I have to kind of rate Charrière highly because of, at the very least, putting a dog-out performance there. Like, yes, Nathaniel Wood missed the technical, goes out there and beats him, but there's still been good moments. Zacchini was absolutely terrible. Ripped to Italian MMA. They just suck, unfortunately. We're waiting on somebody, but we don't have them yet. I think Charrière is going to be too crisp for Nate Landwehr. Like Nate Landwehr, every fight he's getting thudded up. Doo Ho Choi fucked him up last time, but he's a dog. He's trying his hardest. He's fighting his heart out, but Doo Ho Choi, he's a dangerous striker, a well-versed game, explosive athlete, and more skillful. And then Jamal Emmers was rocking Nate Landwehr before the comeback KO. And then, fight before that, Dan Ige beat his ass. Fight before that, he beats an Austen Lingo. And what is that really worth? The David Onama win has kind of aged well. Onama just got that win against Giga in close fashion. But still, even in that fight, he's getting cracked, It was a war, too. That was a great fight. Nate Landwehr is a fun fighter, and I think that he's going to be tough to put away for Morgan Charrière, but I think Charrière is going to be faster. I think Charrière is going to be more accurate. I feel like Nate the Train can turn it into a fun brawl and, make it dirty, but then Charrière lands some big shots. I think Nate the Train's going to be relentless, and I think Charrière and him are probably going to engage in a really good fight. I could see this one being like the sleeper fight of the night, and it ends up getting fight of the night honors. I expect Nate the Train, especially in Tennessee, to dig deeper than in any other city or state in the USA. But I really think that Morgan Charrière is too clean for him. I have to favor the crisp and clean technique and the athleticism of Charrière. I think Nate the Train leaves a lot of openings, and obviously he relies on his chin a lot. He's not old at 37, still actively fighting, but I think that Charrière is just better than him. Yeah, I feel like Morgan Charrière is probably going to crack him with some big ones, maybe win the grappling exchanges. I could see Charrière being the winner of the grappling battles. And I think Charrière is getting his hand raised. I'm feeling a Morgan Charrière W incoming. I feel like Nate the Train bites on the mouthpiece, wants to turn it into a brawl. Charrière thuds him up with some big shots. I can see Nate the Train hurt early in the fight, but I think his toughness keeps him in it. But to be fair, he could get put away. I'm going to say Charrière. I'm feeling decision. I feel like it's going to be one of those violent back and forths, but the younger, more proficient and more athletic fighter should do more damage over the 15 minutes. And I think if they hit the ground, Charrière can win the grappling battle between the two. I got to take a drink, man. I got to take a sipskis, man. Vacation J. I'm thirsty and I'm drinking a Diet Coke. I probably should have brought a water, but it is what it is. Morgan Charrière, he should clean Nate the Train's clock, man. I think it's going to be a fun war, though. I think it's going to be a good fight. Minus 255 is a little wide for my liking. Open that minus 250, Nate the Train plus 215. I feel like people are going to be salivating at the bit to throw down on Nate the Train. Like, one thing, if you are gambling on Nate the Train, I'll give credit where it's due. The man's not going to quit. Anything positive about Nate the Train, the biggest thing that always stands out is there is zero wilt in Nate the Train Landwehr. If you put him away, you put him out, you know? And that could happen here with an athlete like Morgan Charrière. But if he's conscious, he's going to keep on fighting. And that's something that you got to love about Nate the Train. But I think another matchup against somebody just too athletic, too slick, too precise, and I think he's taking an L. Over 2.5 minus 155. I lean yes, but you're going to sweat on it because Nate the Train gets hit way too much. And, like, it's not like Nate the Train has thunderous power, right? He throws hard shots, but he's not, like, crazy heavy-handed. It's like a comeback KO would be his best route, or a comeback submission would be his best route. And I don't think Charrière gasses himself out. I think he stays controlled. I think they will brawl, though, in moments, and I think it's going to be a really good fight. But I'm going to go with the sharper blade. I think Morgan Charrière is a more proficient technician, and I honestly think he can take Nate the Train down, too, if need be. So Morgan Charrière, unanimous decision. A fun fight. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, we got the feature fight of the night. We got Calvin Kattar versus Steve Garcia. Listen, I am in New England right now, okay? I'm in the region. And I'm picking Calvin Kattar to beat Steve Garcia. I really like Steve Garcia. I think Steve Garcia is a fun fighter with dangerous power, explosive striking technique, and honestly, just one of those guys that's super fun to watch. You see him on a card, you know he's going to deliver a good fight. And Calvin Kattar, more towards, you know, the final run of his career. But I don't think Calvin Kattar's as washed as people will assume. They'll be like, oh, well, look at Youssef Zalal tuning him up last time. Okay, look at Youssef Zalal's style and then compare it to Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia, in your face, finisher, brawler, looking to knock people out, looking to do violence. Youssef Zalal, technical masterclass, clean point striker, very efficient with his lateral movement, lightning speed with his feet. You can't track him down. Calvin Kattar had a hard time until round 3 tracking down Youssef Zalal. But Calvin Kattar in a fight here with somebody in Steve Garcia who's more available to be hit, I think he's actually going to look pretty good. This is a good stylistic matchup for him. This is a fight where he's going to have a target that's more there, just more of a sitting target. And Calvin Kattar can box really well. Obviously, Max Holloway showed him levels, but Calvin Kattar's got some hands on him. He's a well-rounded MMA fighter. He's definitely good if you're standing in front of him and scrapping. I think that Calvin Kattar can actually land cleaner punches. I think he'll be a little faster than Steve Garcia, regardless of him being 37. He fought 4 months ago against Zalal. Before that, I was a year and 2 months, and Aljo just dominated him in grappling. But it's like easy to write Kattar off, but hold your horses for a second. Hold your horses on Calvin Kattar. Styles make the fights here. And I think that he's going to be able to fight really well against Steve Garcia because he's not going to have to chase somebody down. I feel like Calvin Kattar's a better boxer than Steve. He's a sharper striker. Yes, Steve Garcia has scary power, and he throws hard shots, and he's a fun brawler, but he's upright, and he's there to be countered, and Kattar could crack Steve Garcia too, and it's not like Steve Garcia has never been hit before. Got knocked out by Majate. Granted, up in weight and, a few years ago, but ultimately, there's still a pathway for Calvin Kattar. I know he's the older guy, but, stylistic matchups are kind of the key in all of them. He's going to be, about the same height, 5'11" to 6 foot, 72-inch reach to 73. I feel like Calvin Kattar is going to look solid in this fight. I feel like Calvin Kattar is going to put like a y'all must have forgot performance out because I don't think he looked that bad against Youssef Zalal in hindsight. Zalal's got crazy footwork. He's dancing on you all night. You got to chase him. Steve Garcia is not that. He's sitting there ready to fight. And I feel like Calvin Kattar can do well in a fight with somebody who's sitting there ready to fight. Something tells me Calvin Kattar's faster with his hands. I think it's going to be a sweaty fight. I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be back and forth. I think Calvin Kattar lands some big shots, some big straight punches. I think Steve looks for big clubbing power shots. I think Kattar can block or evade them with slips. I think he can land some punch combinations. I think that Steve Garcia is going to get hit with some thunderous punches. Now, I get it, though. Steve Garcia, if you go in momentum, I mean, look, Chase Hooper knockout in violent fashion, right? That was impressive, but it's not the same Hooper as now. Northern Beck AW, fucked up Melquizio Costa, beat Sungwoo Choi, beat Kyle Nelson, but they ain't Calvin Kattar. And Calvin Kattar's losses, Josh Emmett by controversial decision, Arnold Allen by injury. So two, asterisk losses. Aljamain Sterling, who is one of the best grapplers at 135 and 45 pounds, nasty on the floor, and just gave Movsar Evloev a pretty difficult fight in grappling, and Evloev is undefeated. And then Yusuf Zalal, who is, on his second UFC run, coming into his own, prospect on the rise right now, whose game is built upon technical abilities and footwork. That's not what Steve Garcia is brute force and power. Like, could Steve Garcia club Calvin Kattar with a big shot? Sure. But chin and Calvin Kattar, bro, steel. Calvin Kattar, he's got one knockout loss, but it was long time back. You know what I'm saying? It was the knee injury. I was thinking that he got stopped. He didn't even get stopped against Max Holloway. What am I talking about? He doesn't have a knockout loss. Who's hurting Calvin Kattar and putting him away? He absorbed immense damage from Max Holloway and took everything on the chin. Thunderous shots. He's not getting put out here, and I like this fight for him. Something tells me Calvin Kattar is going to put on here against Steve Garcia. That jumped up at me. I was like, Calvin Kattar? Don't sleep on Calvin Kattar. He's still got fight left in him. It ain't over yet with Calvin. And I think this fight right here against Steve Garcia is a winnable one for him. Styles make the fights. Steve's going to look to throw hard, and he's going to look to land big bombs. But I think Calvin Kattar is going to be more efficient with his technique. He's the more technically sound striker in this fight here. And his cardio looked good last time, and I think he's going to look better in this fight now that we got an active Calvin Kattar finding his footing again in a matchup that, the fight's going to come to him, that he's not going to have to go find it, and he's not going to be taken down and bullied. I'm going Calvin Kattar to find a way in a good fight with Steve Garcia. I think he lands some big straight shots, and I think he takes it home. I'm going with Kattar. He's a slight underdog. At open, he was a big underdog, but now it's only plus 100. So a lot of love on the Kattar side, and I think, I'm assuming a lot of the bettors are seeing what I'm seeing. It ain't over for Calvin. Minus 165. I do think we go over 1.5, so decent little odds there. I have a hard time seeing Steve flatlining my guy, Calvin Kattar. But on the flip side, I think it's unlikely that Steve Garcia gets flattened early in the fight. I think Kattar just lands some big shots. He's been knocked out one time, and it was this Mahashate fight back in 2022. And, you have to look at it. Mahashate was a nasty prospect at the time before he kind of fell from grace, and it was up in weight. I feel like Steve's gotten better, and I think Calvin Kattar's still good. I expect a competitive fight, but I think it's a Calvin Kattar fight. I think he can honestly win a competitive decision. I'm thinking 29-28. He might get hit with some big shots, but I think he finishes the fight strong. I think round 2, the speed advantage is evident. Round 3, the gas tank is still there. He's definitely quicker. He's definitely more precise, and I think he's more efficient. I'm going to say that Calvin Kattar, the Boston finisher, he goes to the final bell. He doesn't get the finish, but he takes it home against the Mean Machine. I'm going Calvin Kattar decision here in a hard-fought brawl. I think New England's finest, snapping the New England fighters back on track. They need it, and I'm going with Kattar to win. Let's keep going. Co-main event. We have the ageless wonder, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Gabriel Bonfim. Oh, they're doing it to me, huh? I'm going with Bonfim to win. And I say that sadly for sure. And I think we can all be upset about it. I have to go with Bonfim. Prime Wonderboy, different animal. But to be fair, even the ultimate flaw of Wonderboy in his prime was, the grappling. Not that it was a massive issue for him, like he was getting out grappled left and right. But, where Wonderboy thrives is karate stand-up, because his distance management is second to none. Nobody does it like him. His karate striking in modern-day MMA is essentially perfect. He is extremely proficient with his kickboxing skills. He still can move incredibly well at 42 years of age. And to be honest with you, this Joaquin Buckley fight 8 months ago, he was looking good until he was out cold violently. I don't like him getting knocked out cold in his 40s. I don't like that at all. Now, the fight before that, you can say, oh, Shavkat, he gave difficult striking exchanges to Shavkat. Absolutely. In striking, Wonderboy is still incredibly proficient. And for 42, he doesn't look old. He's still sharp, right? Win against Kevin Holland 2.5 years ago. To be honest, Holland did fumble the bag by letting him back up. He should have just used grappling. Wonderboy's biggest flaw in his prime, grappling ability. And as you age, I feel like that biggest flaw comes back and haunts you worse so. Now he's taking on the 17-1 Brazilian phenom, Gabriel Bonfim, who is a pretty solid striker, but he's a submission ace first and foremost. Like, don't get it twisted. He's got striking ability, but he's a submission specialist. Coming off the Chaos Williams sub, the Angelusa fight, he ends up going distance. To be honest, they kind of aged like shit because Lusa got, wrecked up by Rowe, but he was winning early, and, Bonfim dominated. Lost to Nicholas Dalby after looking good early. He gassed out, and Dalby showed him that veteran lesson, but that was the veteran lesson. Not this one. Not a 42-year-old wonder boy. I don't see it. I really feel like Bonfim's jiu-jitsu skills are nasty. I think his ground skills are legit. He's got efficient enough striking to be okay in the stand-up Wonderboy. Like, I don't see Wonderboy knocking him out. And I don't think Bonfim is going to, chase to throw big strikes. I think he'll explode to close the distance. But I think Bonfim's game plan, it's going to be a weird comparison, but it's going to be okay, how Pantoja was pressure striking Kai Kara France to get the fight to the ground. I feel as though Bonfim may enact something similar to that. And I think his athleticism advantage and his grappling tool set is going to absolutely shine in this fight. I see him getting Wonderboy down. And Bonfim is a certified finisher. He is not known for winning decisions. Angelusa, that was the one moment. But what he showed against Angelusa, let's look at the fight just as the positive side. Let's not talk about, Lusa, he couldn't finish. Hold on. He was coming off a loss against Nicholas Dalby, and he showed patience. That's a big improvement. That's a maturity. And then he goes out and he subs Chaos Williams in the second round. Now he's fighting a wonder boy, and I think he has a clear grappling advantage. He's the better athlete between the two, especially at this point of their careers. And I think Bonfim is going to win this fight by submission. I think he's going to get Wonderboy to the ground and sub him up, man. I think he's going to channel his inner Shavkat. Wonderboy been finished in his past 2 fights, and something tells me Bonfim is going to follow suit. And I think Bonfim is getting Wonderboy to the mat, and I think he's going to maybe take his back and lock up a rear naked, maybe control from half guard, beat him up a bit, work towards an arm triangle. But something tells me he's taking his back. And I think Wonderboy is getting submitted against Bonfim. I think you guys say, oh, shit, man, Wonderboy don't have it anymore after this one. I think early in the fight, you'll see glimpses of prime Wonderboy striking from range. But it's Wonder senior citizen now, to be honest. I'm shitting on Wonderboy. I love Wonderboy. He's a GOAT. He's not a GOAT, but he's a GOAT of karate, to be honest. Wonderboy's got amazing striking. It's always been a pleasure to watch. You got to love Wonderboy. I hope we see him on the desk more often. That's where I want him to be at. But fighting a 27-year-old, 17-1 Brazilian savage who's a grappling specialist with power, with dangerous stand-up, with explosiveness, nah. This is just unfortunately how it ends for Wonderboy. I'm going with Bonfim to finish. I think he's going to submit Wonderboy. I mean, he could lock up a Darce choke, something like he did against Chaos. If Wonderboy tries and scrambles, watch for a counter submission by Bonfim. The grappling skills, simply put, are just way too good. Way too good. I'm going Bonfim. Minus 355. Low key, though, I think the odds should be 5-1. I know. It's Wonderboy, but they should be 5-1. The ground skill difference. Bonfim is going to win this fight. It's not a matter of really if for me, it's when. And I love Wonderboy, but Bonfim's ground skills are terrifying. Minus 356 for Bonfim to win by submission. And I think the submission game is way too efficient. Plus 275 for Wonderboy, who's sitting at big dog status. I like minus 350, though. You might be like, oh, Age, what are you talking about? You're not money line. No, but parlay piece, bro, I think Bonfim runs over an Age Wonderboy, and it's going to be a submish. Over 2.5 minus 115. I think we're going under. I think Bonfim subbing him. Bonfim's a finisher. Wonderboy been finishing his past 2. It kind of just makes sense. The bingo chips seem in line, man. Game, set, match, checkmate. I'm going Gabriel Bonfim to submit a great striker and a fighter that deserves love and respect. And I hope to see Wonder Boy working for the UFC for years to come, because I actually think he's one of the best fighter analysts in the game, period. And I want to see more of it. He's got a great brain for this shit, and I think he should take advantage of it and be on the desk all the time. But I think that this matchup here against a 27-year-old Savage, I mean, look at the age difference. 15-year age difference between the two of them. That's insane to me. How many karate tournaments had Wonder Boy won before Bonfim was even born? That's insane. Battle of eras here. And I'm going with the new generation. Bonfim submission over Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Let's keep running. Main event of the evening. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe it up. We got Derrick Lewis versus Teixeira. Sad. I'm sad. I'm popping a Zin in. That's depression hitting. I'm going Teixeira, and I'm really happy to have an exciting prospect for the heavyweight division, because God knows we need it, all right? The heavyweight division needs prospects. But it's sad that it's got to be Derrick Lewis who takes an L against him. Now, Derrick Lewis is the essence of a power hitter, and the power is the last thing to go. He's 40 years old, but D-Lew can crack, and if you give him a chance on the feet, he can put you away. Problem is, Teixeira's got that like efficient Brazilian Muay Thai with clean knockout power, and he's 25. He's getting better and better and better. And he's already showed really good timing, and he's already showed nasty power. He's well-rounded. Like, what's Derrick Lewis going to do? He's going to have to catch him with a wild punch. But I think Teixeira is way too technical for him, man. I'm looking at D-Lew, and I'm like, okay, he beat Nascimento a little over a year ago. That was his last fight. And he really didn't look that good. I picked Derrick Lewis there, and I know some people have written him off, but I believed in D-Lew there, and he won. He was able to win by knockout, but like, it's not like he looked great throughout the fight. And what is Rodrigo Nascimento's striking to Teixeira? Nothing. Nascimento is taking, 50-50s. What is he, winning and losing over in PFL? And he's kind of just a slow plotter of a heavyweight that doesn't really have any dynamic skill sets on the feet, doesn't really have any explosiveness, just a big body, has some jiu-jitsu, is okay with punches, but not really a great athlete, doesn't have much power. And it still took Derrick Lewis, 3 rounds? You got him out, I believe, the 3rd round. But it was a 3rd round knockout. Yeah, I'm 100% sure. 3rd round KO, he put him away. And it was a devastating punch. And it looked like, oh, D-Lew still got something. Hey, he's got something for some of the, bum barrel or, bottom of the, heavyweight division's top, the top 15. Now, he can take out some cans, but I don't know, man. D-Lew against a thunderous prospect who's undefeated on the rise. I've seen this story before, and I think D-Lew is getting absolutely destroyed. Quick striker in Teixeira with knockout power. He's going to have a 4-inch reach advantage. He's also going to be bringing in that height advantage of 4 inches too. The dude's got a freakish frame for the heavyweight division, and he's got a frame that looks ready to compete with the top 10. I mean, we got D-Lew taking the L against Jailton Almeida, where he's just dominated on the ground with grappling. And Jailton didn't sub him up, but just controlled him for 5 rounds, lopsided. Rogerio de Lima knockout, he was an underdog. I believed in him, and I picked him, and it was 2 years ago, and that was a badass knockout. And I was so happy D-Lew won, but it was like people were thinking he was washed then. And then obviously Spivak destroyed him on the ground. Pavlovich knocked him out in seconds. He lost to Tai Tuivasa in a brawl over 3 years ago. It's just, I can't pick a D-Lew. I don't think he's got a chance here. I think that Teixeira is knocking his ass out. And I know I was hesitant to be confident on Teixeira against Tafa. I had to be. But he went out and he destroyed a Justin Tafa exactly how he should have. This kid is the prospect to watch at heavyweight. Fast twitch, okay? Nasty striking, clean power, but also very efficient with his technique, and he's accurate. He has a schooled Muay Thai-based striking game with the clean power, with the knockout ability. And I feel like he's well-rounded. Like, I wouldn't doubt Teixeira in any aspect of the game. The dude is Mr. Knockout, but like, he's got 1 win by submission. Got the inverted triangle armbar in his MMA debut back in 2021. That's crazy. All his fights are beyond the 2020 era. Made his debut in 2021. Like, he's the prospect to watch right now at heavyweight. We need prospects to watch. His striking technique is clean. He's going to catch Derrick Lewis with a straight shot. I see Derrick Lewis getting frustrated, trying to throw his typical power bombs from the outside. Teixeira with length is going to counter him. And I see D-Lew getting wilted and TKO'd here. I think Derrick Lewis is getting knocked out. And I think Teixeira, I mean, he's live to do it early. I think Lewis is going to get reckless. And I think he's going to look for a big power punch early on, especially because as this fight goes on, you have to favor the younger fighter every minute that goes by, even more so, right? Derrick Lewis has never been a renowned fighter for his gas tank, right? It's knockout ability. And sure, he got a third round knockout against Nascimento, but he's looking slow. Oh, Teixeira is about to knock Derrick Lewis out violently. I'm actually really excited, though, because it's a fantastic main event. It's an awesome card. Nashville's got a banger. I'm telling you guys, we're about to enjoy the hell out of this, and I'm excited to watch it all live. And I think Teixeira is going to have that performance where people are like, oh, shit, he's on the fast track. He's getting put on the fast track. Main event in his second UFC fight. That's a UFC like, yo, we need heavyweights. We need them badly. And I think Teixeira is that heavyweight to watch. I think he knocks out Derrick Lewis in the first round. I'm expecting a straight punch. I think Lewis walks into something big. I think Lewis gets hurt and kind of fades away, tries to get wild. More straights come through. And I think he gets a little frustrated, and Teixeira is putting him out in the first. And I think D-Lou's getting finished. Probably hurt bad, falls to the ground, and then gets stopped with a little ground and pound. I see a first round knockout. I feel like this fight is a sub 5 minute type of fight here. And I think it's the Teixeira night. Should show the efficient Brazilian Muay Thai with fast twitch punching ability, knockout power for sure. And he's one to watch. I'm excited for him. I'm sad that D-Lou's got to be the sacrificial lamb. That's exactly what he is here. We got 8-0 versus 28-12. We got D-Lou showing signs of aging. It's the perfect time for the young prospect to come in, take this fight, fight in a main event, and I'm telling you, they got a star on the horizon for the heavyweight division and a Brazilian star. The UFC loves the Brazilian stars. We need them. And Teixeira is that thing. And I think he's running through Derrick Lewis here in the main event this weekend. Minus 260 for Teixeira. It's just because he doesn't have the experience. It could be 4-1. Plus 220 for D-Lou. I'm telling you guys, I think it's game, set, match for D-Lou. Under 1.5, minus 190. I lean towards under 1.5. I think Teixeira's putting him away in round number 1. You look at Teixeira, first round, bro, it's all first rounds. He hasn't passed the first round yet. And I think D-Lou would love to get out of there quick and early. So I expect the fight to heat up pretty fast. And I think Teixeira's knocking him out. Am I sick? Because I'm kind of thinking D-Lou might get too wild and just get knocked out in a minute. Like, he might just fight stupid, and then Teixeira just finds his openings, drop bombs, and this D-Lou goes down. I'm not saying D-Lou's just taking it for the money. I'm not trying to push that narrative, but he's 40, you know, he's in a main event. He's getting a nice check. He's fighting a nasty prospect who's, you know, the one to watch, and he's being used as the opponent. I could see him getting hurt early. I think he's going to be too wild. He doesn't have the technical abilities for a fast twitch striker, especially a heavyweight fast twitch striker. This is the kryptonite for D-Lou. And yeah, I think he's getting violently knocked out. I'm going Teixeira to win the main event by violent knockout to cap off this pretty stacked UFC Nashville card. I'm excited as hell to be back to the normal content flow. I hope you guys are enjoying the on-the-road breakdown. I got the mic in hand, all right? And I'm still breaking it down in full effect. I think that we were pretty on point with the breakdown today. So let me know in the comments what you guys think of my predictions. Do you agree with the main event take? Are you riding with D-Lou? Are you holding on to faith? Are you just living in the past? Are you thinking Wonder Boy at 42 years old somehow beats this grappling prospect who gets people out of there quick? I don't think so. I want to hear from the people, though. Let me know what you think of the predictions. I hope you guys appreciate the On The Road show. Hey, road to 50,000 subscribers. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed, smash the like button too. I love each and every one of you savages. Thank you guys for the support. I will be back in studio Tuesday with the normal content flow going thereafter, with a Monday, off because I'm traveling, and then Tuesday Moneyline show, a little special edition. And I'll be back to the daily live streams and more. So keep your eyes locked into the channel. Content coming every single day of the week, starting Tuesday, and I'll be back to the flow. Little post-vacation, Jay, feeling hungry and ready to get back to work. Love you guys. W in the comments if you got nothing to say. I appreciate each and every one of you savages. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.